What's good, y'all? It's your boy Reinvented King the second, and I'm back again with another video on DCUO. Uh, Today I just want to get back into what piggyback off of what I did in my first video, DCUO, which is talk about the state of DCUO and where has it really gone. You know what I mean? I'm someone, some background history, because I'm not sure if I actually covered this. As far as my last video on DCUO, but I'm a player that has been in and out of love with DCUO and what they did for the game since about beta days, which is about 2013, 2012. Like, I've been trying DCUO out since the beta days, and even just way back in the days to when it was like the powers were what was OP. Like, it was certain powers that took a OP stance in the game. Like, at one point it was mental players. If you just did certain, you could put like alpha mods in your gear as long as you got like the power interactions and the color interactions. And funny thing, that's another thing. Back in the day there were no attack mods. It was just straight, you had color coded mods to put in your gear based off of what you were. Like, if you had on tank gear and stuff, it will automatically mean for you that most of your gear mods will end up being something involving with might. You know what I mean? Well, let me say pieces of your gear based off of what they would specialize in. All right, it would rather be blue or yellow or sometimes even just red. Anyway, or red, which was the might color, which it basically still is now. See, what they did was they reshaped it to where they could make it to where you get like little power interactions based on what your power is, to incorporate things like movement into movement powers and traits into your skill trees. But I would say mainly this game was making changes in the right direction once they started like mellowing out the powers to where you could use certain powers, and it's just, if you were really good with that power, you would be at the top percentage. Because if you really understood how to use that power, it was a wrap. You were just one of those players that was really good at using that power. And also back then, skill points mattered way more, especially when it came to running content that would be considered difficult or just was difficult in the first place. Not even so much considered, because now what it takes, honestly, what it really honestly takes to be able to run certain content is literally, especially even elite content, if we want to get into that. Let me see. Let's say GPE, right? Let's say the newest episode, The Sins of the Black Adam, the one that just came out, right? Okay. We have elite for this, basically everything across the board from the solo down to the raid. And I haven't ran anything for the day, but I am gonna run some stuff in order to show some gameplay and, you know, give some talking points towards it. But thinking about it, right? When this episode first dropped, right, most players were in like the 360s to 370s range, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, most players were in like the 360 to 370s range. I believe the ending point for yeah, I do believe the ending point for last DLC, which was the Dark Knights, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure I'm not tripping. Right, yeah, Dark Knights with Source Wall and Source Wall Elite and Elite Plus and Blase Blase. You know what I mean? And the sixth dimension joint. all of those, right? They had their fair share of levels, right, to go with it. And part of me, if I feel like if you feel like I'm taking a long pause in between, I like to get have this thing to where I get very focused on one thing, especially if it's like a task that I'm doing in game. For some reason, I get so hyper focused on it, but nonetheless, back to DC and what they're doing and or not doing. To keep it a whole 100 with you guys, the minimum you would need to run any form of elite content, and I can attest to this because I've had teammates that I would bring into elite contents that were newer to the game, may not even close to 300 skill points yet, probably in the 200s, yes of course, but with as many skill points that's in the game now, he can still basically run elite content with no problem, basically based off of if basically just based off of if we're with him or not, if we're being honest. Because my league mates, it's pretty much super easy for us to run content, like pretty much all the time. All the fucking time. The only time where it's not easy to run content is when it's something that's extremely difficult that requires more than just us being good, aka a raid, right? Like Rock of Eternity, Elite, or even Neron's Underworld Elite, right? Where I'm gonna be DPS 9 times out of 10 because I really don't feel like healing in this new DLC. I mean, I have a great handful of times, if I'm gonna be honest. Like probably, yeah, I would say more so along the lines of like a handful of times. It's also because I don't want to play a support role during this DLC. I wanted to enjoy my DPS because that's normally where I have like the most fun at being able to be the person that's knocking down the boards, making sure I'm the burn. You know what I'm saying? Because I can trust that I'm gonna be a great DPS. You know what I mean? I can be a great healer as well. That's not something that has to be up for debate. But I know it's up to speculation as for you guys because, of course, I don't necessarily. Did I forget to pick up a mission? Yes, I did.
Each of Trigon's sons seek to be the one.
My fault. Yeah, I took a long ass pause. Oh my god, guys. My bad. But yeah, going back into this DCUO topic. All right. Comparing old times to new, I know some people wouldn't really like the idea that skill points would be more important, and I can understand why. I understand what they're saying when they're saying as to why they wouldn't like these said things, right? Because it doesn't cater more towards the casual player that will have less time to be able to do these said things with their players. But that's neither here nor there because at the end of the day, you're still able, once you get to a certain point, right? Back in the days to where like if you're someone that was able to get through at least the regular content and build your player and you was about building your player, it didn't take long. Even if you were casual, if you want to be honest. It took a little longer because it made more sense for you to have to put in more time on the game anyway. But now, it's been boiled down to where it's not about just simply playing it no more. There's people that can literally get into Elite off rip and tell me when I'm telling lies. If someone has a big wallet and gets on this game, a big wallet, doesn't care about dropping any type of cash on this shit, like to be like top of the line, like off the rip, like as soon as they get the game. Somebody can very well do that. Like they can literally sit here, buy all the artifacts, right? Or even if they want to just simply do it to save, I guess, some sort of money or a little bit of money, whatever. Go up the ranks, at least get to level 30. This is partially what I did too. Like this is also some insight into what I did with my player. Play through the ranks, play through the story, the main story, grab all the investigations and shit that you can. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Write all the briefings, do all the instances that you can, you know what I mean? Just basically keep building your play up from like the ground up to get all those extra feats and shit. You know what I mean? Because they're super easy when you're coming up, for sure, for sure. They only get harder if you try to do them later on. Because you'll find yourself making a grave mistake that most people do, is that thinking that simply just wait until later will make getting skill points easier. Nah, that's not actually true. Because if you at least have somebody that's decent in the support role in your DPS or above, at least decently above average, as far as like this, let's say a healer or a tank, because you may need that for certain alerts coming up, like for tier 1, what is now tier 1 and tier 2. Yeah. But yeah, this is not like the ultimate end all be all when it comes to oh my god, hold on, my bad, y'all. I keep stopping. There you go. But yeah, what I did mainly in this game was level my play up to level 30, go through the full process or whatever of leveling your player from 1 through 30 with the main story, and then after that, it became whatever extras that I was able to get from just simply leveling my character. Alright, I dumped those into like certain artifacts. I used source marks to get, instead of using currency to get source marks. I ran content to get source marks to get my artifacts, to at least get them. Even shit like trinkets and things of that nature, to where you can trinkets, supply drops, orbitals. You could literally just simply just pay for source marks, if you want to be honest. If you want to put it in perspective, right? Because this is really what my whole argument boils down to. Where is it? I'm trying to think. Because there is literally, let me see. Yeah, there you go. It's in the supplies, right? Say someone has a big wallet, right? This right here is 22.50, right? Just 200 source marks. Someone with a big wallet will look at this and say, oh, okay, $85. Okay, for 10K marketplace cash. And I could get that 200 source marks roughly, let me see, 22.50. That's probably about 4 times, right? Yeah, that's just about 4 times, to be honest. And it may be a little extra for something else in that supply area too, to where you could fuck around and even get the 70 one for the very last time. On top of that, 204 times is already 800 source marks, and then you add another 70. That's 870. Someone can literally get one all of their, someone can then literally go to the House of Legends, right? Go to John Constantine where the artifacts are, and they're not necessarily a big amount of source marks, right? You can get the main artifacts that you want, well, at least for your main loadout at first, you know what I mean? Okay, so like, say for my single target,
Mr. Freeze and his goons are interfering with the Star Sapphires and risking the safety of Gotham City.
say for the single target loadout that I have, this is what I wanted to start out with. Like, this is just my loadout that I wanted to build first, whatever. Because we can get into armories later, and that's another thing. You can simply just get you a nice 4-pack of an armory on top of that. But I'm gonna get into that in a second, alright?
Good work.
So, okay, let's do this. I go to John Constantine.
You don't want to.
First of all, Dionysium, quantum field energy, and paradox energy to be able to, which is the currency and or catalyst. No, I said the currency. The catalyst that you would need in order to even level up the said artifacts, right? All of the artifacts are within 10. I believe that simply all of them are just 10 source marks. So you could come here, right? Say you need cookie cutter DPS, right? Especially nowadays. You need, based on your power, you need Quizlet, transformation card, strat card. Boom. But then again, no, I said single target. Wait, so let's go back. Okay. So, single target. You want solar amp, transformation card, and you necessarily don't have to run amulet. Well, that's another one, but okay, let's say cookie cutter, single target. Right? Solar, trans, strat. Boom. So now that can cover not only your single target, but I can also cover your it can also target your like AOE slash single target loadout, to where you can pretty much switch like a power, a 2-hour. It's normally switching like a power, a 2-hour with most powers nowadays, if we're gonna be honest. Let me see. So say okay, you need this. That's 30. So from that 870 source mark that you got just from spending $85, somebody that has a big wallet that's not scared of spending another $85 and then even another, so on and so forth, and etc. after that, right? But that's not real, right? Okay, these artifacts by default, to get them to 200, that I want you guys to understand one thing. Getting an artifact maxed out all the way to 200 to unlock all the innates that come with it, the stat boosts that come with it, it is not an easy feat whatsoever. Like, it is not something that's gonna be simple for you to get, right? Also, that comes with the game, of course, because DC was supposed to be a grindy game. But at the same time, look at it like this, right? You have those that will have to grind the game, right, in order to be top tier in any way, in any regard, as far as being any role, whether it's DPSing, controlling, healer, tank, but focusing mainly on DPS, especially to be a top tier DPS in some sort of way, you need the artifacts for it. There is no other way around it nowadays in this game. You can literally know your power better than the person that you're fighting against, have no artifacts, or at least, let me put it in perspective of somebody that will be free to play, and more so somebody that will probably be spending money off rip, right? Yeah, both fresh and new to the Dark Knights DLC, because I believe that's where the CR skip takes you, right? Y'all are both fresh. While I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go to my collection because I need my coins around for my healer gear. But back on topic. To simply have these artifacts alone, right? You'll have someone that will both be at, like, I believe it's 333 is when you get into Dark Knights or something like that. Or 350 actually, yeah. It's I believe it's 350. 350 where you get into Dark Knights. So you get into Dark Knights. Yeah, one friend that dropped a bag on the game already. Okay, boom. He's probably spent 84 or 84.99 about 4 or 5 times at this point. All right, and he spent it on not only artifact. He spent it mainly on one getting his artifacts up. So his artifacts is probably somewhere sitting at somewhere between, if he distributed it evenly, probably has maybe 200 if he's focused one completely like to the top and does it that method, or if he's split it around, each artifact will probably be around 160 140 area. And that's literally seriously putting it into perspective. Like, you may be able to get all three to 160 if you spend the 84.99, which is basically $85, and then that's plus, because that's plus tax if you have taxes in your area, which most people do. Even with that, you will not be at the tippy top. You'll probably have to make sure that you spend more cash at some point moving forward, right, in order to keep building that character. To keep it a buck, okay, that free-to-play player may have, if they've been grinding heavy, let's say they've been grinding heavy, they may have at least, and this is back when I just grinded my artifacts up. I literally did a test with this on the villain side, and I'm gonna go to that player sooner or later to be able to within the video, in order to be able to show you guys. But yeah, assuming that player grinded hella crazy, he may have one artifact 160. But that's also granted that he may have dropped like a little 20 piece on the game, right? Still, you don't necessarily have to be like on no Daddy Warbucks thing, but say you grinded the hell out of the game, you just also drop like maybe like a 20 piece on it. You're still not even gonna be as far as the person. You're still not even gonna be close to as far as the person that legitimately spent a whole rack or something on this game and spent it solely on artifacts, right? And even if they don't need that whole rack on just to be artifacts to be able to max them out. Whatever, even if that's the case, right? That still gives them leeway to have other things that you need, like allies, which you then get into later. But DCUO, right? We've been looking at this from a standpoint to where they are making it better for the casual player. But the whole point of these videos are to help them understand that, yo, DCUO is not meant for simply just casual players. It's meant for the grindy players, the players that are gonna play overtime and overclock their game. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the essence that most gaming companies have fallen off from, just point blank period, when it comes to making games and just creating them as it sits right now. I don't know what it really is, but I really hope that they understand that this is gonna be a grave mistake to keep making, to simply just want to cater to what is gonna be the vocal minority when it comes to actually wanting to play the game, right? In the end. If we're being serious right now, they're going to be into vocal minority in the long run on the game. They're going to very well be in the vocal minority. It's not even going to be funny or close. Once companies begin to understand that is going to be the case, 9 times out of 10, is that your player retention is always going to be better when you simply create and continue to have the fun essence of the game to where there's something to work towards and you feel like you're getting rewarded for working towards that. Not to say that just DCUO just doesn't have that. It's not what I'm saying. But it's literally minimized to the fullest if you're going to be honest with yourself here. And we can never take that into any other perspective besides understanding that that's the reality of what we're working with when it comes to playing DCUO and being a full-time player. I'm not even like I hate to say full-time like it's a job, but like let's put it as the vet and the vet player. The true veteran player. That has been around for long periods of time. The vet player that's been simply trying to play this game since its launch and still wants to play the game but just doesn't find any liking to it, to know that grinding skill points is pretty much, if you want to be honest, grinding skill points has become fairly optional. Fairly optional. Very fairly optional. Like it's not even a lie if you want to be honest. You could try to make it to seem as though it's a lie, but just be honest with yourself here. Grinding skill points has overtly became so much optional, so much more optional now. You can literally get to a certain point of skill points, have enough to where you're just. Hold on, why did I mark that as an importance? What the hell? But yeah. No, you can get to a certain point of skill points to where you necessarily don't have to go for more skill points if you want. If you want to just stick to one role, you can literally wait until the skill point cap for all that your power needs or requires. Let me say. And then just be pretty much done from there. Like, look at it like this. Okay, I wanted to take a second to pull up the skill tree because I was just simply just taking long pauses because I was just trying not to die. But all right, you get these first skill points pretty much like early, right, to unlock these. Because this is literally what, 40, 60, 61 skill points. You could get 61 skill points in a matter of a day, if we're going to be honest. Like, an actual just regular day of DCUO, you can end up with 61 skill points. Especially someone that's coming up, right, as far as running all types of content, different types of content all around the board. And you can custom play into these contents and then get feats without even thinking that you're going to get them because you're just playing. So now that's 61. So now we get down here to what the DPS needs, which is extra 340. So now you're looking at, okay, I need to have 61 plus 340 at this point, so that would be 401 skill points to be able to max out. At this point, having not even sitting here having to have all of this is not even really like a factor. But you can legitimately stop at a certain point because those percentages that you see, the 10+% power, the 10+% might, 10+% weaponization rating, it stops at a certain point. The percentages stop moving, so you can legitimately take away the fact that you get an extra what, 8,000, basically, like, let's say 9k might, to put it to round it off, right? You get an extra 9k might. Once you get to the higher ranks, 9k might honestly is not gonna do as much as you really think it is for you. You're best off, seriously. Most DPS end up thinking that, or understanding that they're better off more so just getting to 100 points in here, right? Getting to 100 points. Most DPS will end up feeling like they better off just getting to 100 points here, getting as many stat boosts as they can from this, not really caring too much about the power or the might and all that other stuff, right? To just be able to max it out. So you don't even have that mindset. So you're looking at 161, 121, and then 61. And then now that's basically just another 100, because if you see right here, I'm building to max out this the health power interactions with the percentages, right? The health skill point interactions, right, with the percentages. So as you can see, once you go up, right, over here, since I have 0 in this, it's 1% at 5 points. And as you'll realize as you go up with the skill points, right, and how many points that you have allocated into each stat, right, you will legitimately see that those amount of points that you'll have to put into it to get the next percentage boost will then continue to jump. Like once I get this, once I have enough to have 100 in here, I'm more likely gonna go here to create some more, like, you know, just weapon tap DPS or whatever. Like, if anything, you know what I mean. It's not really like super duper necessary, but it's like, if you want extra DPS in some way, it wouldn't even make sense if you're to just not allocate it into here, especially if you are a DPS and you're someone that wants to grind the game like me, right? And looking at this in entire perspective, right? And I had this neat metal detector going, so I'm gonna keep going through here, guys. And I'm gonna continue to talk. I got you. So looking at it in perspective, right? You really only need about 161 skill points, maybe about 250 to really start off and be like okay. And if we're gonna be honest here, 200 to 250 skill points, even 150, dog. 150 is not even really that hard to get at all nowadays. Not even close. And let's give it the positive interaction. Somebody that's going for feats. You're going for feats, bro. That shit is not gonna take long, bro. That'll never take long. I promise. Like, I can literally attest to that. It'll never take you long to be able to build up no character skill points to even 100. It really does not take long for that. I promise you. If you're someone that hunts feats in any type of way, or you know where feats get allocated and you're able to utilize that, or you have teammates that are powerful that can help you with even more open world feats, bro, you're good. You're gonna be Gucci. And even a solo player, right, that doesn't necessarily have a league, you can still find your way to use the LFG chat to help you with all of your endeavors. Straight up. Yes, sir. Alright, I had to kick Neuron's ass real quick. If we want to be honest, right, we'll have to accept the fact that DCUO with the skill point tree, with how DPS can be aligned, you can literally, like I was saying earlier, be a person that wants to simply get the percentage boost and stop at 161 skill points and just simply be content with what you got from there. And guess what? Now you can build artifacts. The only thing that skill points really does for you is make nowadays is really, I guess, make you a slightly more OP. That's really what skill points does now. Skill points really doesn't sit there and skill points are important, but it's to a degree. Now it's more so like not how it was back then, to where if you tried to get into certain content and you were, especially high level difficulty content, right, and you didn't have what was necessary in order to compete in said content, you were getting kicked because you weren't equipped to be able to run it. It was no, you had other safety nets like a goddamn artifact and ally that can give you certain stat boosts and also just buff the hell out of your DPS, to where even somebody that has more skill points than you, but and by a good enough margin, but you don't have better art, he doesn't have better arts than you, it's automatically gonna be BS, bro. Automatically BS, bro. Automatically BS, to the point to where you're gonna get cheated. You're gonna not be getting cheated, but you're gonna, well, basically you are getting cheated. If you want to be honest, I'm not gonna sit here and really sugarcoat it either. You are getting cheated. You're getting cheated out of primal DPS and grind, to where somebody that can legitimately just buy arts, right, put them on, follow a rotation that they find on YouTube or something, because either way you can get exactly what you need from YouTube. That's it. You don't really need much else, if we're gonna be honest here. When have you ever needed much else at this point? Like, come on, man. You got artifact generals that will legitimately be the turning point and the building block to the game. If you do not have artifacts and or gear, that's another thing that's just really funny about this. All you need these days is all the stuff, simply just gear and artifacts. As long as you keep building up those things, gear, artifacts, allies, all of the things that can now be currency based, so where if you have enough money you can get them way quicker than somebody else that has to grind it out. Those are the things that matter, if we're being honest. Come on now. May the church say amen, man. I really don't think that they have ill intent, but I do think that they have a bit of laziness now when it comes to, they do have a great deal of laziness going on. At the headquarters, when it comes to, one, making these DLCs, two, what comes with these DLCs, three, what seems to never change about these DLCs. For the non-change or the non-allocation of understanding that certain power boosts should be higher regardless, especially if you're someone that takes the time to get these things done. There should be more of a rewarding factor in what somebody's able to do. Like, you literally just have to look how easy it is to just simply just do these type of things, which is what I have, right? Things like this will be legitimately unbelievable
We have no choice, Mom. There is no other way, and we cannot go back.
for, well, not even so much unbelievable, but like it'll be mainly a lot more difficult for other players that are trying to just simply build up their character. And most don't, and even looking at it from an even more casual perspective, most casual players don't even know how to build their player correctly. So they end up staying at a cap point because they don't even want to take the time to even learn. So I don't know why they cater to that player base to where it's like, okay, the only casual player that DCUO appeals to is the casual player that has rather one yeah, it's only one thing to where they have some form of currency or cash to be able to drop on this. That's all this appeals to.
Just kidding.
Yeah, straight up like that. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Like, nah, that's just really how it is. Straight up, bro. There's nothing that you can tell me that DCUO has done within the past however many years we've been going through the cycles of pretty much DLCs with open world spams, and pretty much that's where damn near where it stops at.
Remember, this is a simulation. So reenact this moment. Computers will take care of the rest.
Me, I'm not looking to spend any more money on this game. I legitimately done spent enough, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Even from back in, if I was to total up probably how much money I have spent on this game, come back in the days when I used to play and used to spend money on shit like cosmetics and things of that nature, or little extra cool things, or base new base items and stuff when you had to purchase those to be able to get them. Oh man, this is just so easy.
Initializing extermination turret test. Target the clone tube.
You're not allowed in here. Activate the Sentinel and bring those turrets back online, now.
Oh my. But I don't want to sit here and just simply just rant all day. I want it to be understood that I do appreciate DCUO for what it came to be, because it has come far. It has been alive for a long time. But if we're gonna be honest, the player, I don't really know the player count per se off the top of my head. But I know for a fact the player count does not top where it used to be years ago. Not even close. Not even close. And why I say that is because I have vivid memory, if we want to be honest. And to keep it 100, I promise you, the servers were so stocked. The servers were always so goddamn stocked that it was queues for even legendary players to get into the goddamn game. The servers were so goddamn stocked and stacked that there were phases upon phases that you can warp to, like, with people. Because the server was so stacked that the watchtower was packed. Shit. Not only the watchtower was packed, but LFG chat was moving so goddamn fast with everything because it was so many people playing. Like, this is well known. But enough of this rant. I'm gonna be honest. It's time to cut this short. Cut this off. I've been going at it for about almost 50 minutes now. I'm gonna chop up this audio and get this video out to you guys. Main basis of DCUO and where it's gone. I believe that in closing, that the developers of this game, as well as the execs, have gotten. And I know it doesn't simply fall on the developers all the time with most games. It also falls on the people like the execs that make the final decisions and cuts on a lot of things, if not everything, in most cases. They have gotten more so money hungry with the ideas of what they can bank as far as profit and revenue, outside of actually knowing that the profit and revenue will be in their game being significantly played more. Because people would not have problems spending more money if the game was actually fun all the way across the board, and it didn't seem taxing, superbly taxing to the player that wants to just simply have, even if somebody just only has legendary. Even shit, somebody that wants to only have legendary, bro, you still gotta work hard as fuck, hard as all hell. You really do. To be able to build your player to these max levels and these maxed out areas to where you're literally sitting at the top CR, maxed out artifacts, even the maxing out the soda, OP gear, getting those said OP gears from those other vendors in these different areas, maxing them out, being able to have other artifacts that you gotta max out too, because running them in higher tier content that is even more difficult is basically a must at that point. Shoot, adaptive, just augments in general, whether adaptive or origin, gotta build those up. Now those don't take forever, but for someone that, man, listen, for someone that the argument is casual versus grindy. So someone that's more casual, that'll take ages, damn near, to be able to get all the way up to this 342 level, max level for 4 of them. For someone that's more of a vet player that just wants to build a new character and decides to build one up just simply for free, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, man. Well, I'm gonna have a series to where I'll build up another whole new character, and I'm probably gonna make them like a troll or a tank specifically. I haven't decided yet, but that will be discussed and or taken up with the next video. Give me a shout, give me a wave, give me a... Appreciate y'all. I appreciate all the new subs. Hopefully we get more. Well, I know not even so much. Hopefully, I know we're gonna get more subs, and I appreciate everyone that has subscribed so far. I hope that this video was helpful in some sort of way. Comment your thoughts below. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this where I talk about DCUO and where it has gone and compare it to different older generations of DCUO in older years, or even just giving like my full thoughts on different instances and, you know, the difficulty levels, or just everything across the board in DCUO. Let me know what you want me to cover down in the comments below. Drop a like so I can show up more in the algorithm, please. I very much appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new. It's your boy Reinvented King, and I'm out of here. Peace.